Welcome back to another beautiful day on Ravenport, and we are back with our Absolute Beginner series. And today is going to be all about planting. That's right, we're going to finally get crops in these fields and growing. So, let's dive right in to the different kinds of seeders and planters that we have in the game and what you need to know about them. So let's open up the store menu, and you're going to go into Tools. And the first one we're going to take a look at is seeders. Now, seeders are kind of a funny thing, seeders and planters, because let me just take a quick look. I don't want to give false information. Okay. So with seeders, you're going to be able to plant your wheat, your oats, your barley, your canola, soybeans, oilseed radish, and grass. So quite a bit, like pretty much all the main crops you're going to plant with seeders. Now some seeders will hold fertilizer with seeds. For instance, this Agromass Selvis 3800, this holds fertilizer. The Stera, this holds fertilizer. This one does not. That's just a seeder. This is seeder with fertilizer. Seeder with fertilizer. So anyone that you see that they have the two little icons, one is for seed, one is for fertilizer. They'll also hold fertilizer. So you don't have to, you can skip the first fertilizing stage. So like we discussed before, that you would plow, put down your lime, possibly cultivate if that's the route you're going, and then fertilize your field. So if you have a seeder that holds fertilizer, you can skip the first fertilization step. So then you would just have to plow, lime, cultivate, and then you can plant, because this will plant and fertilize at the same time. So with that being said, the next thing we're going to take a look at are planters. Now planters are different in the fact that planters will plant corn, sunflower seeds, soybeans, sugar beets, and cotton. So it's kind of a strange thing that planters and seeders will both plant soybeans, but they do. And with the planters, it's pretty much the same way. Like this Amazon, this holds seeds and fertilizer. This one will fertilize. This one does not. This one does. So it seems like there's more that will actually seed and fertilize than just seed. And this monster here, this Great Plains, this YP2425A, let's take a quick look at this. This thing here is like a seeder and planter combined. This will plant everything in the game. So if we take a look, go back again and take a look at it, as you can see, well, it feels like, no, maybe it's not. So yeah, corn, sunflower, soybean, sugar beet, cotton, wheat, barley, oats, canola, oilseed radish, and grass. So the only thing it won't plant is potatoes, which none of these will plant potatoes. Potatoes are yet another special planter that you'll need to buy. So these are planters. So talking about potatoes, let's go down to potato technology. And you have these two here. This will plant potatoes. And this will plant potatoes. And not to get too much into potatoes, but then you need special harvesters to harvest potatoes and sugar beets. And the funny thing is that sugar beets you can plant with planters. You don't need to buy a special sugar beet only planter. So with that being said, we're going to take a look at how to plant. So there's one thing about the planters that I will definitely talk about, and the planters have these things called ridge markers on them. I believe there's other implements too, possibly cultivators and things like that that have ridge markers on them. But since these have them, we'll talk about them today. So that's what you're going to do, is you're going to press down your L1 button. And first of all, let me say this. Right in the top left-hand corner of the screen, above the controls, where it says controls, and if you go just to the right of that, you'll see a little tractor icon. And there's a little implement on front and a little implement on the back. And if you press your triangle button, you'll scroll through the different implements. So we definitely want to be on the seeder. So let's turn on the sower by pressing the square. And we are planting canola today. We'll put the ridge marker out. Move up a little bit here. And now we'll lower it and we're ready to go. Now, you'll see the ridge marker. You'll see it making indeed a ridge into the dirt. Now, quite honestly, and you can see I'm not really going straight here. I'm trying to go as straight as possible to not follow the field so we can see that. Now, that ridge marker for me is really only useful if I'm in the in-cab view. So we're going to take a look at that. But what we're going to do now is we're going to raise that ridge marker and lower that ridge marker. So basically, if you're in the in-cab view, you can kind of see where you need to be. So let's switch to that. And you kind of want your wheel, your front wheel, kind of right on that line. Or, wait a minute, let me see something here to make sure. It's either that wheel's on it or it's got to be like right in the middle of your tractor. I think it's got to be right in the middle of your tractor the more I think about it. So let me go out quick here. Yeah, kind of just keep that line centered under the hood of your tractor, and you'll be good. Come out, lift this one up. Now this time you'll have to hit it again to do that. Go in the in-cab view again. Again, just kind of get that centered, lower your seeder, and follow the ridge line. And I didn't lower the seeder. I forgot to raise it. We all make mistakes. It doesn't matter how long you've been playing a game, we all make mistakes. Okay, so now it is lowered. So we're going, like I say, you just center that line. And for the most part, you shouldn't get any misses. If it overlaps a little bit, that's fine. So shut that off. Raise that up. So that's how the seeder works. And as you can see, the texture looks different now. This is the planted texture. And then you just let this grow. And what I would normally do is, because this is 50% fertilized, we have one stage, we need to get a second stage on here. I would probably wait till this is in the second or third growth stage. Let's take a look on the map. Yeah, I would wait for the second or third growth stage, and then I would fertilize again. And then you'll have your 2 stages of fertilization on it, and you'll get 100% yield. With that being said, let's go take a look at the next kind of planter that we have. Okay, so this is the planter, and this one we have corn in. And we're actually going to plant the corn. And I'm not going to use the ridge markers this time. I just wanted to show you guys how those work the first time. Because like I say, I really feel that they're best for when you're using the in-cab view. When you're out of the cab, you can see everything. So I don't necessarily use them, but you're free to play the game however you wish. So we're going to turn on the solar. And first, let me just say this, is that you don't have to buy specific seeds. You just buy seeds. You fill up with seeds, and then when they're in your planter or seeder, press and hold L1 and, well, I have to turn off first. And press and hold L1 and your triangle button will change what you're planting. Like I said, we're going to plant corn. So turn on the seeder, lower it, and again we're on our way. And as you can see, it's the same texture as before. No difference. It's just that this particular seeder plants different things. So let's move on to the last one, shall we? Alright, so we're on to the last one, and this is the potato planter. As you can see, it's full of potatoes. And the kind of cool thing about the potato planters are that you can go to the store and you can buy seeds, and the minute you fill it with seeds, it's potatoes. Now, when you actually plant the potatoes and harvest them, you can actually use the harvest potatoes and fill this with those and just plant those back into the ground. So it's a very interesting way of doing it, and the potatoes, I will say in the game, the potatoes aren't the most lucrative crop, and they're actually kind of expensive to plant because you need so much special equipment for them. You need a special planter, and you need a special harvester, which is pretty expensive, and harvesting potatoes takes a lot of time. There's no really big harvester that you can get that you can harvest a lot at once, so it is kind of time consuming. But again, this game is kind of geared towards, you know, everybody, so whatever you want to do is fine. Alright, so we turn it on. Again, we lower it, and we're off and running. Now, as you can see with this is a different texture. So when you plant potatoes, you definitely get a different texture with those. And there you have it. That's kind of planting 101. I really like that. That's a really nice looking texture right there. That's pretty cool. I like that a lot. And again, every one of these for me, usually around the third stage of growth is when I'll come and I will fertilize again. And you got to remember to put on different tires when you do that. And I think we're going to go take a look at that right now. Although we're going to drop this off here because I am going to finish doing this because the next episode will be about harvesting. And we might as well check out all those different crops that we plant. So let's see here. I just need to find the, is there a workshop over here? I'm not sure. So I'm going to try to find the workshop, guys, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I couldn't find a workshop up at the farm, so we're back here at the store where I know that I can do my customizations here at least. So we're going to go around to the back, go to where the little markers are, step into the little flying disc, and click L3. So here's the workshop at the store, and this is where we can either sell, or we can repair, or we can customize our vehicle. So we're going to go into customize. Now, anytime your crops are growing, where they're actually out of the ground, and you need to do work in the field like fertilize, if you have crop destruction on, which you can shut off, like I said, if you watched my first video, you can shut crop destruction off. If you don't want to play with it on, that's completely fine. But if you do have crop destruction on, what you want to do is before you do your fertilizing, when the crops have grown, You want to go to your wheel setup, and you want to find your narrow tires, and you want to put these on. So you just click customize, and then you'll have these on. Now, you pay for these once, I believe. Now, I'm not sure if when you go to the store. I know that when you have a workshop on your actual farm, you pay for them once, and that's it. So you can switch back and forth, and it doesn't cost anything. If you go to the store, I believe... yeah, I think it's just a one-time only fee at the store as well. But yeah, so if your crops are busting through the ground and it's time to fertilize, definitely want to put these on if you have crop destruction on. Again, if you don't have it on, then don't worry about it. I'm not going to put these on right now because I don't need them at the moment. And again, just for a quick refresher in case you didn't watch my first video, which is totally fine, you're going to go all the way over here to game settings. And you're going to scroll all the way over to crop destruction. And you can turn it off or you can leave it on. It really depends. Again, plant withering you can have on or off. I went all over this in my first video, so if you didn't catch that, you might want to go take a look at that. I explain all of these tabs and what all of them are for. Okay, guys, so I think that's all I really had to say about planting. There's not really much to it. I appreciate you watching. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. I'd appreciate that. Hit subscribe because, as I've said in the past, I have noticed that a lot of my views are coming from people who haven't subscribed. So subscribe and you'll see more content like this. I do have a Let's Play roleplay series going on the campaign of France, and yeah, you can check out all my other content. So I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next one.